Perfect. So, good morning, everyone. My name's Seth. I'm with According to Seth. Today, I'm joined by the cast and crew of Ben and Suzanne, a reunion in 4 parts. Today, we have writer director Shaun Seneviratne, stars Sathya Sridharan, and Anastasia Olowin, and Doron JePaul Mitchell. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Doing very well. That was really funny too, because
I
like
still messed it
we,
up,
we
didn't
were
I?
just talking about the
Yeah,
names too. That was hilarious.
I
No,
knew
I
it.
love it. No, that's hilarious. We'll roll with it. This is really fun.
I'm sorry,
Um,
guys.
no, it's all good. We're doing great. It's been a whirlwind couple of days, and today's the premiere day, and I'm probably gonna feel like just counting the minutes till that moment happens, and I'm just waiting to like when the first frame comes up and then we hear the opening notes of the song. That's when I'll be able to sort of just like finally like ease into the experience. But I mean, this is like an absolute dream come true.
That's awesome. And yeah, I saw that it's premiering tonight at South by Southwest. So congrats, guys. Um,
Mm.
one of the things I wanted to ask first of all is, Shaun, first to you, how did you come up with this story? Like, what were some of your inspirations? I love that it kind of like looked at this relationship after they've like been away from each other. I feel like we don't really see that side of things often, and like what it takes to rekindle a romance. So I kind of want to get your like perspective on that.
Yeah. Um, the story is definitely rooted in like an experience that had happened to me in 2009. I was visiting a girlfriend at the time who was in India working at an NGO, and I'm a Sri Lankan person visiting India. And you think it's going to be like this amazing romantic trip where it's just like, oh yeah, like this is going to be the best. And like I went with like a 36 pack of condoms thinking that like, oh yeah, well, we're definitely going to have sex like at least 2 to 3 times a day. So that tracks. And then it's like a vacation where like I return back home with 36 condoms, and there's like the rekindling, it's we were out of sync, and then we had to kind of get back in sync. And it was really like a sort of perspective altering experience that kind of stuck with me and made me, like I've lived with it, sort of reflect on many different aspects about relationships and perspectives and love and conversations and emotional life. So yeah, and it's so that's kind of the genesis of the story, and like influences and inspiration is really, really important to me. And I'm really happy you asked that question, because I don't think a lot of artists get to talk about their inspiration and influences. And it's you know, we are our influences and inspirations, right? That's what influences like our thought and the way we see the world. And so and every movie, it's important for me to have like what are the sort of tent poles in a way.
Yeah.
Um so this one definitely has some like really varied influences. So we have like Eric Romer movies, huge Eric Romer fan, particularly The Green Ray. I think The Green Ray just has such a great way of like one day could be like one short 5 second scene, and you kind of get like a moment in that 5 seconds, and that's all you need for like July 18th. And then it moves forward. And it's like it really has like a propulsion and a naturalism and like a fictionalized documentary style, which I'm very into. Um, The Shining was, that's like a influence where people are gonna be like, "Well, how is that an influence? That's weird." And but I think Shining is like one of the great evocations of like isolation and loneliness and how that can impact us. Um, and I also love like Kubrick has like an objectivity, as does Romer, and that's something storytelling wise I was really interested in, is not being subjective, not getting into like character psychology, but like they are existing and we are watching them and we are observing them.
That's
Um,
awesome. I love that
yeah,
comparison.
yeah. uh, and then screwball comedies like Shop Around the Corner and Philadelphia Story, and just like thinking back to like how charming, like you could just be charming, and like you could
Yeah.
not be on the same page, and it's about that back and forth, and like there's good dialogue, and there's great blocking, and there's like a thoughtfulness. And like when you watch a movie from the 40s, like you're watching a scene where the actors are interacting. It's not cut to hell with like over the shoulder, over the shoulder, over the shoulder. It's just like here is the moment that we get to experience. So yeah, like so every different movie influences like a different aspect of it. And these are just like a few of
Yeah.
like many, many influences.
That's awesome. And Duran, and also to Satya and Anastasia, what is it about this story that grabbed your guys' attention? Like what brought you onto the project? What we were like, oh yes, I need to do this.
Well, 10 years ago, Sean made a short film called Tourists, which was always meant to be the first chapter of the story of Ben and Suzanne. And I saw a casting call for it. And what stuck out to me was that, you know, and at the time you could, I think you can still do this, like attach like more information about this, like a little bit of the script or a little bit of this or that, more background info for the story. And Shaun had attached a lookbook that was really beautiful and really thoughtful, and it grabbed my attention in a way that no other casting call has ever grabbed my attention. It was just so thoughtful and really beautiful, and aesthetically like very much on the same page as what I'm drawn to aesthetically.
Mhm.
So I felt like an affinity for this project from the beginning, because I felt a kinship to Shaun in some weird way through the internet. And then we met in person, and I was like, oh, I think I understand this story. I think I understand this person, and I really want to work with this other person, and this person who seems to share so much of that same sensibility that I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for me, you know, about 10 years ago, I was, you know, a little bit out of grad school trying to figure out my professional life. And I got a message on Facebook, I think at the time, from Shaun, who had been stalking me on Tumblr, I think, and, because I had a Tumblr also.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, exactly. And we met for coffee, and he was sort of trying to get this one project off the ground, but he wanted me to read this other script, and there was like an instant kinship, and we sort of vibed on similar backgrounds of being South Asians and falling in love with punk music and emo, and we like were talking about bands that we loved, and I was sort of astounded by his like wealth of musical knowledge and also film knowledge, and like just could have talked to him forever about like all of the things that he would want me to watch and listen to. And you know, it's really rare, I think, as a South Asian performer or South Asian artist to like find that kind of like-minded someone with a like-minded sensibility that's also South Asian. I think it takes a lot of work to find those kinds of cultural cousins in a way. And Shaun, I once I met Shaun, I didn't want to let go of him. And you know, that was 10 years ago, and we're now getting to premiere this film at South by, which is just it's been a wild.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for rom-coms, and so I'm
Same.
always gonna say yes to like the wholesome nature of love, because I think love is complex, but I think love is one of the few universal aspects that we can all still kind of agree to. It's like, oh, someone likes someone else. Someone may like them or not. Something that's in the way. Do they like each other? Like, we all kind of can be game with that. So as a lover of rom-coms, and I've been a fan of Sathya's for years, and so it was kind of like a match made in heaven. I was like, oh, I've always wanted to work with this actor, and I always wanted to work on rom-coms. Oh, they're in the same project. All right, bet.
That's awesome. And that kind of brings me to my next question here. One of the themes I noticed in this movie is like the power of film, and I love how that's like the one thing that kind of brings Ben and Suzanne together, and it speaks volumes on like how important films is and how it can like bridge the gap and connect people. So I wanted to know from each of you, what is one movie that you always recommend to somebody, something that like you use as a connection with them?
Man, I am like
It's like
constantly
Sophie's
recommending
choice.
everything to everyone, and I did in like screening series, and as a teacher, like I have film Fridays where we watch movies. So I'm like constantly recommending things, but the movie I recommend to folks is like, you want to see cinema and like what I believe cinema to be as an art form. And like, you know, there's movies, there's films, there's cinema, and not anyone is better or worse than the other. It's to me, they feel like different forms. But The Lovers on the Bridge, Leos Carax, to me, that is just like sound and image beautifully put together to go beyond narrative into the level of poetry. And then Godard's Pierrot Le Fou. Those two feel like kind of sibling films in a lot of ways, but those are like the movies that I'm just like, you know, take a little dip into like the wild side and like off the deep end, and you will be rewarded and maybe challenged.
That's awesome.
For me, like especially when it comes to like a couple of nights ago, we were at a party, and there was an older South Asian uncle who loves films, and I was like, "You love Sathya Sridharan, right?" And we had this like big moment about Pather Panchali and how much we love that film, and that to me is like Shaun actually introduced me to the work of Sathya Sridharan. Like, we saw a screening series. I didn't know Apu trilogy or any of his films, and now whenever I especially meet like a young South Asian actor or director or writer, I'm always like, have you seen Padre Panchali? Because to me, that feels like an artistic lineage that I get to, an artistic inheritance that I get to have. His work is so human and like slice of life and just so moving and poetic. And I felt so seen watching a movie that was made 50, however many years ago.
Yeah.
It was a really life-changing moment for me. So that's what I wrote.
Oh gosh, I don't know whether to go art house or art house or commercial.
Speak
I'll
from the
say
heart.
Daisies is a really fantastic film. It's like the first like feminist new wave 1970s film. It's just these two women like creating chaos in this fantastic way, and it's so cinematically innovative and very exciting to watch. That's like a touchstone for me. And then I've also been thinking a lot about Goldie Hawn movies lately. She's such an icon. Death Becomes Her is like one of my favorite films. It's such a good one. And First Wives Club will like live forever rent free in my brain.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love that list. As like let's see. Empire Strikes Back is I think the perfect exploration of like what fantasy can be, and innovation in fantasy, because it's before CGI just starts running everything. I'm a huge Spielberg fan. Thank you, George Lucas. When Harry Met Sally, I always tell people that because it's the perfect screenplay. And it like bridges docudrama and narrative. And then my favorite movie of all time, a Goofy movie.
Yes.
It is 76 minutes of joy. It's both a musical, a drama. It deals with father-son dynamics, something you rarely ever see in films that talks about the wholesome nature of that. There's a sense of hope. And as I tell people, if you really want to get into cinema, you have to have a sense of play and joy. And so Goofy movie like lives in infamy, and I can quote that movie from start to finish without thinking. So
that's incredible.
Name of that musical artist? What's his name?
Powerline. Come on, man.
Powerline.
Powerline.
The Prince stand-in, right? Yeah.
That pizza always looks so good, no matter what like the cheese pull, you can never get it like that.
Yeah. No, it's a great. Oh, and it's super diverse, by the way. Also, it's like an incredibly strong, diverse film of like Black people, white people, brown people. They're all in this film. It might be dogs, but it's all, all races. So.
It's perfect. Last couple of questions, because I think we might be running out of time here. I'm having a great time with you guys.
Yeah, no, this is awesome.
Whose idea was it to put Starship Troopers in there? Because I love that
Shaun.
movie, and I think it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, Starship Troopers fucking rules. And I think a lot of people like whenever I tell people, they're like, oh, it's like that action, like people get it, or they're just like, oh, like that like action movie. It's like, no, it's like it's like an incredible action movie. Like watch it for its action sequences, and like the actors are so good, and like I really love the casting, and people are just like, oh, they're like soap opera actors. It's like, yeah, who cares? Like that's the point, and that actually like elevates it all to like this other level. And I think they're incredible in the movie.
Denise
Everything
Richards
about
is
it, like
great in that film.
what do you say?
Denise Richards is
Denise
great
Richards
in that
and
film.
like
Fantastic.
like everything Suzanne says about Starship Troopers and what Ben says about Starship Troopers in the movies is definitely how I feel about it. And it kind of came about where I was writing that balcony scene and I wanted to bring up the idea of bugs, and then the line just came in of like, oh, the only good bug is a dead bug. And then that just spiraled into like, oh, it'd be kind of funny if like then Starship Troopers came up. Oh, it'd be kind of funny if like that was like a sort of moment where it's like, how do you not remember this? And then I was like, then it'd be kind of funny if this became like the running bit for like the whole movie. And then I was like, how beautiful would it be of like when two people reunite and it's not this moment of like, I love you, I'm sorry, and everything. It's just like, hey, like we are just connecting about this movie and art and like shared experience that we get to talk about. And I was like, that feels true to me. So yeah, Starship Troopers really, it's like it kind of adapted into the movie in a lot of ways. And what's really funny is in reality, Anastasia has watched the movie, and Sathya has not watched Starship Troopers yet.
What are you doing?
So
You gotta go watch
Sathya's
it.
doing this. It's like a form of protest at this point.
It's my identity now. It's just who I am, what I've become.
It's a modern classic.
Listen, I know. I did a film with both of these people. I was told.
The movie's great. So I guess last question here. Obviously the premiere's tonight. Is there anything that you guys want people to know about this film, and something that you just want out there?
I want them to know that it premieres at 7:15 at the Alamo Drafthouse Lamar. Shaun made these really beautiful little posters for it, which is so nice.
Those are so awesome.
But yeah, come join us tonight.
I want people to know that they can make a movie, and movies can be refreshing, original, and can be made and be seen on the big screen without needing a bunch of gatekeepers.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just what do I want to be known? We have an Instagram, Ben and Suzanne movie. There's cool stuff on there. We're not really running it like a film Instagram account, and so I think it's interesting artistically. And yeah, I just want people to like check it out and be open. I guess what I want people to take away is like take that chance on like watching like a cool indie film, and you might see something that like feels singular, unlike anything else that we've seen before, and let's like open ourselves to like, we say we want new things, and I don't think most people really act on that. And so, yeah, like let's embrace all the new stuff that's out there, and like just check out the movie. I don't know, I'm kind of like rambling now, but
No,
like,
you're good.
it's yeah, come see the movie. It's going to be awesome. And even if you love it or if you hate it, like I'm here for it all. Yeah. Satya?
Oh, just bring a loved one and be prepared to have a good conversation afterwards. Definitely
Yeah,
go have
that's
a
good.
drink after, have a little a postmortem.
I love that. And I love the film, guys. I thought you all did fantastic. The chemistry was amazing. And I really appreciated the fact that like you included the film as the connector for a part of the relationship. And that was a big theme, because I use film all the time to connect with people. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. So I really love that. And I wish you guys all the best success and good luck tonight.
Yo, thank you so much, Seth. Appreciate it. This was fun.
Of course. Thank you guys for all the time.